What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got some more NBA news to, of course, be talking about with you guys. This time I wanted to talk about the recent news actually revolving around the New York Knicks, with it now currently being reported that they are potentially the closest team to trading for De'Aaron Fox, and that a trade is actually being discussed right now and is making a lot of movements around the league, with it being reported again that the Knicks have shown some interest in doing a De'Aaron Fox and Julius Randle trade. And again, they are currently the most interested team pretty much in De'Aaron Fox and are really the favorite to get him. And this is all being reported by Brian Windhurst. Now, I think it can't really be said enough how indecisive it looks like the Kings are with their future and their guards. They really don't know what they are doing, it looks like. I mean, they drafted really 3 point guards in the last 4 years, and I think a couple of people gave them the benefit of the doubt because Tyrese Halliburton's a dude that can guard the shooting guard, can definitely learn to potentially guard the small forward, in the future. And then De'Aaron Fox was really the best guy at that pick. But it almost seems like they just have this issue now where they don't know which guards they, potentially want to keep for the future. And really, the whole entire team is up for trade in Sacramento. And there have been reports saying that the Kings are, actively in conversations, hearing teams, wanting De'Aaron Fox. There are teams that are offering big trade packages to bring Tyrese Halliburton in. And teams, actually asking for, kind of some stuff. And then when Sacramento asks for something, our team will ask for Davion Mitchell back, who was the guard they most recently just drafted. It's pretty crazy to me. In my opinion, they should not trade Tyrese Halliburton. I think he is going to be somewhat of the future of this team, averaging 14, 7, and 4 on good defense, on 41% from 3. Plus, the other thing is, some people might be like, well, they can't trade Davion Mitchell because they just drafted him. But in reality, Davion Mitchell is actually only a year younger than De'Aaron Fox, which is just crazy to think. It's just that De'Aaron Fox has, of course, been in the league a lot longer. Again, there's all these commotions that the Kings don't want to trade De'Aaron Fox and they want him to be their franchise player. But then you hear other rumors saying that they are in big talks with the New York Knicks about a trade and that all these teams are interested in currently discussing trades, yet they don't want to trade him. Doesn't seem to make very much sense to me. I think there is a huge chance he gets traded maybe at the deadline or at the end of the season. I don't think he will be in a Sacramento uniform next season at this point, because I think they've lied to a lot of people saying they're not looking to trade him. I honestly can't believe the Kings have been this bad this year, 19-35 in possibly the weakest Western Conference I have ever seen. I mean, let's look at it like this. The Lakers are still in the play-in tournament, and they have been absolutely terrible. I mean, if you watch the Lakers, their defense is possibly the worst I have nearly seen in the last couple of years. And yet, they are 4 positions higher than the Sacramento Kings. How are the Kings this bad when they have really solid role players in Harrison Barnes, Buddy Hield, Rashawn Holmes, etc.? How can they be this bad? It just doesn't make sense to me. I think, I've seen a lot of people say this, and I think it's quite funny, and Sacramento Kings fans even find this funny now. Some people have said you give it one more blow-up, and if that blow-up doesn't work, then you just move the team to Seattle or something like that. Honestly, that might be the thing. And some people are saying, well, the Cincinnati Bengals are in the Super Bowl, move the Kings back to Cincinnati. That would be really, really funny. I honestly just don't understand it. In my opinion, this offseason, they do need to blow it up. I'm sure you can get some solid role players and maybe a couple seconds or maybe protected first out of Buddy Hield. Same with De'Aaron Fox. You should be able to get a first and a solid player. This and that. Marvin Bagley, you're just going to decline in free agency. They should have traded him ages ago. Can't believe they kept him on this year. And you're going to want to let players like Tristan Thompson and that just walk in free agency. Completely go on free agency and revamp this whole team. I'd keep Harrison Barnes. I would keep Tyrese Halliburton. I'd probably keep Rashawn Holmes. Some people might be like, well, why would you keep Barnes and Holmes if you want to blow it up? To be honest, I think you at least need to have one solid role player on this team, and Barnes is probably going to be that guy. And I still think you need still another solid player as well, and Rashawn Holmes is probably the other guy. But again, he's only playing 26 minutes per game, which is ridiculous. To be honest, though, I don't like this trade that is being suggested with the New York Knicks. I do really like the Knicks potentially going out and getting De'Aaron Fox. In fact, I think De'Aaron Fox would be a very good player for the Knicks to maybe go out and get. I just think there are a lot of issues here. Again, when I talk about Fox, Fox is not the worst defender. In fact, I'd probably say he's probably an average defender for the point guard position. An average defense at that point guard position is better than the defense that, Kemba Walker, etc. are putting up at point guard for the Knicks. And then when you look at it like that, he's a way better playmaker than anyone the Knicks have as well. He's a way better scorer. The issue is the Knicks have so many shot creators in Randle, Barrett, and soon to be Reddish when he comes up. Is adding another shot creator really that great? I think the Knicks should go out and get a Malcolm Brogdon type, a dude that can play off ball at the one, who is an incredible playmaker that shoots the three very consistently and plays great defense. I would go after him if I was them. I also don't know about giving up Julius Randle. I think there are a lot of things that the Knicks need to do before they give up Julius Randle, because Randle, keep in mind, was an all-star last year, and even though he has not had a good season at all, I still feel like you need to go out and get a point guard and a center before you even look at giving up Randle. And also, I would get Tom Thibodeau to kind of... I definitely think he needs to adjust his coaching style. There are a lot of issues with Tom Thibodeau. He, for some reason, thinks that every single player on the team needs to be a defensive, warrior, and it just needs to be in this defensive system and that's why players like Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, etc. just have not worked on this team. That's why I think Brogdon would be so good. Another dude like Miles Turner would also be pretty interesting, because all these guys are really above average defenders. In fact, Turner is an elite defender, one of the NBA's best. It's just a really hard thing, but I do think he needs to adjust, because players like Obi Toppin, I honestly think Obi Toppin needs to be playing more time on the court, because realistically he's only coming on for 15 minutes per game as the backup power forward. I don't understand why he hasn't been slotted in some center minutes, hasn't been slotted in some small forward minutes. I think they started to slot him in for some more center minutes, but again, it's just not really the right thing. It just doesn't seem like that's the case. Again, this season he's only averaging 15.5 minutes per game. I just feel like he needs more. And again, I would rather play him as the backup center than, even like a Nerlens Noel or a Mitchell Robinson. I feel like the Knicks need to move on for both of them as well. Both just haven't been good this season at all, and I think Knicks fans would agree with me there. Time to move on. Both players have some value, and you can definitely match up contracts with both of them, especially Nerlens Noel, who I think is on $10 million. But it's really tough. Would you trade Randle for Fox? In my opinion, the Knicks, I think both teams would get better, significantly better, but I feel like the Knicks have a lot of things to address first. In fact, if the Kings were to get Julius Randle, I would be certain they would be better than what they are right now, because then I think Davion Mitchell would start next season. He would play 30 minutes per game. Halliburton will play 35. You're pretty much getting rid of De'Aaron Fox and creating an extra, slot at that point guard position for an established young guy they've got already coming off the bench. And then you bring in a power forward, which they legitimately haven't had for so many years. They really wanted Marvin Bagley to be that guy, and he just never has been. Well, I guess the Knicks, they bring in a point guard. Finally, they can get rid of Kemba Walker. I don't know what Derrick Rose's future looks on this team. If they'll keep him, they might, because they haven't been too convinced on Emmanuel Quickly this year. And then again, they can move Obi Toppin to that 4, and he can finally try and prove himself there, I suppose. So, hey, there are a lot of interesting things. I guess the trade would be alright. I just don't know if the Knicks need to be focusing so much on trading away Randle. But if someone was to ask me what would the trade be, I would say just a straight swap at this point. And the reason why, I think both teams get a little bit better than what they are right now. Plus, I don't think neither players are better than each other. Both are not really even knocking on that all-star this season. So I would just do a straight swap, honestly. Both teams would get better. I think it would make sense. But yeah, I think there's some things that the Knicks should be worrying about first. Plus, maybe the Kings could do some better packages out of Fox than what they could get for Randle, maybe. Potentially, I'm not exactly too sure. But of course, if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Comment in the comment section down below. What are your thoughts and opinions on this? Do you guys think the New York Knicks should be trading DeAaron Fox for Julius Randle? Do you guys think it'd be a good move? Of course, don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel, my IRO/long channel. Check out my podcast channel as well if you haven't already. Links for them will all be in the description down below. But as I was saying, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.